boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, cats and dogs. You are listening to another episode of Hardcore Geek Wrestling. And as always, I'm your host, Ryan, aka Mr. Showtime. And we have on the Magic Geek Wrestling hotline, the Mean Gene hotline, straight from Asgard, Cleveland. My World Podcast Tag Team Championship partner, The Hammer. What's going on? We thought we had The Hammer.
Nope, I'm still here.
Oh, we do have him. We were having technical difficulties. What's up, man?
What's up? Nothing much, Showtime. I had a bit of a cough, so I put you on hold for a second there. Trying to get some of this Asgardian healing going on, but it ain't working right now.
Yeah, man, you've been sick for a little while, man. I don't know, man. Was it defending your title in overseas? You just caught one of those bugs, or what's going on, man?
Probably in that freezer match I had over in Africa. They had a freezer match. It wasn't fun.
Okay, is that like a casket match?
Kind of, but it starts outside in the kitchen by one of those extra wide deep freezers.
Okay.
And it's 2 out of 3 falls. So when you lose a fall, you have to go into the deep freezer for 15 minutes. It was rough.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're still champ, so I'm happy about that. You're still undefeated. Yeah. Eat your heart out, Bill Goldberg.
Right.
So it's January 3rd. We're 3 days into screwing up the year when we write that on top of our papers at work, and we had a crazy 2016. So I really want to talk about that because from the beginning of the year, kind of going all the way to the end, or at least near the end, and I'm just talking WWE wise, we had some crazy stuff that happened,
they started off pretty strong. And then the end of the year, I don't know. Got kind of complacent a little bit.
It got a little sticky. Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. The biggest things that really kicked off the year was we had the debut of AJ Styles. Can we agree that's probably the biggest shocker?
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I think everybody lost their mind when they saw him actually. They heard the music and everybody was like, "What is this?"
Mm-hmm.
When he came out, I think everybody almost. I think I lost the remote and everything. It was just
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, he was kind of like. I put him up there with Sting's debut because we always heard the rumors, hey, Sting's coming to the WWE. Sting's coming to WWE. We saw Sting was going to be in the video game. He was in the video game. And it was kind of a cool shocker when he made his debut. But with AJ Styles, I think it just was on another level because we knew that he was leaving New Japan and he was doing indies. But there was no real sign, no real clue of him actually going to the WWE. And when he made his debut, that was a legit freaking surprise, I think they did it the best way they could. You do it in the Rumble. You have him, give him a strong show, and he kind of
everybody that somebody starts off. Even John Cena started off losing for the first 3-4 months, and then you find his niche.
That's very true.
And that's when Thugonomics came up. When Thugonomics got straight, then he started to take off. So I think what really helped AJ too was the whole club angle, and turning him heel, because that whole face part of it didn't really work for him. It was cool because a lot of people were on his team, but I think this generation is more of a we love to hate. You know what I'm saying? Or we love the bad guys more than the faces now. So you need to have a strong heel for your demographic of 30 and up to get behind it.
Well, yeah, you do that because you look at guys and I hate to keep going back to it, but you go back to The Rock and you go back to Steve Austin, they were bad guys, and eventually they just got over. But they didn't do anything different. They weren't out there high-fiving or kissing babies or being, playing by the rules. They were just assholes that everybody just started, hey, I really like this guy. This guy talks a lot of crap and he backs it up,
Yeah, exactly.
And, yeah, man, AJ obviously, his debut, his run with the club, and now, he's still the defending WWE champion. I wouldn't have thought in a million years that I would see AJ Styles in the WWE, let alone the champion. But, it looks like...
Within his first year.
Yeah, within his first year. That's another thing, too. He was an outsider. AJ Styles is the TNA guy. No doubt about it. He is Mr. TNA. And for him to kind of, shake the stench, if you will, of TNA and succeed to the level that he has in the WWE, that speaks volumes for AJ Styles himself, and it speaks volumes for WWE for having an open mind, which something that they're not very known for, No,
yeah, you're right. And I mean, it just really worked out that way really well in that particular situation, because at that point they wasn't ready to bring up Finn.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole bunch of, there was a lot of loops still open that they hadn't, pulled the trigger on yet. So he just fit in at the right time, right place. So
yeah, that's another one. Finn Balor. Hopefully he comes back soon. But going back to NXT, I think this is really the year of NXT. Another debut I didn't think we'd see was Shinsuke Nakamura.
Right.
And I was really worried that he was going to go the way that when they brought in Jushin Liger. And one and done. Yeah, I thought it was just going to be one and done, but the dude's freaking, he's amazing. And he's one of the guys that I would love to see do a surprise debut in the Rumble in a few weeks.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't think they will. I think, like we've talked about before, I'm pretty sure we're going to get Joe this year. Mm-hmm. And we're probably going to get, like you said, we're probably going to get Ty this year, so.
Yeah. Another thing that I didn't see happening, but the writing was on the wall as far as the... let's break down. WrestleMania was a kind of like the island of misfit toys, and I'm saying that because there were so many injuries that prevented a lot of these dream matches from happening. Like, we didn't get Cena and Taker, we didn't get Triple H and Rollins. I know there was we didn't get Neville. There's a lot of guys that were just hurt, or at least recovering. Like, Orton wasn't there. Wyatt wasn't able to physically compete. So there was a lot of guys that they threw in. And I think one of the reasons that Triple H was the champion is because of that. Because I didn't see Triple H winning the title again.
No. Yeah, they had to do something to fill the gap. And they didn't have any, like you said, they didn't have any heels, established enough heels to actually do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you one heel that they had. They had Roman Reigns as a heel all year, and they still haven't turned him yet.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do with him this year.
Did you watch Raw last night?
Yeah, I did, and I was highly disappointed at the end. Yeah. I was cool at the beginning. Like, it was good all the way up until the doggone referee actually listened to Roman versus just flat out disqualifying him, which was supposed to happen. That would sit there and look. That was bogus.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. That would have been a nice tribute to Eddie Guerrero. And that would have been an easy way to keep Roman looking strong, but getting the title off of him and then keep Jericho as that heel that we all love. So I think they dropped the ball there. I think that should have been the finish, and I was like so excited. I'm like, okay, cool, this is the finish, and then they did not they did not go with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Was that the James ref? Was that our friend?
No, that wasn't our James ref.
That wasn't Danny Fat Nasty. All right.
I told him, I said, you should have been refereeing that match to make sure it went right.
That's great. So, like, we, speaking of the club, we got Anderson and Gallows. Very exciting that they were signed but WWE has really yet to do anything with him. It looks like they're starting to do something with him as of last night's Raw, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that's going to be their nice. I called it. I told you guys. They're going to have the titles going into Mania.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is how they're going to do it. They're going to build them up. They're probably going to get those titles, if not at the Rumble, right after.
What about, sorry, I had to step away from the mic here to grab something here. What about Enzo and Cass? Do you think that they'll move them into the title picture, or are they kind of stuck in this weird feud now?
I think they're going to finish this feud. I think this feud is to hold them off until they get these titles on the Enzo and Cass. So,
yeah, that would make sense.
I'm sure this should be ending soon because it makes no sense.
It doesn't. I mean, it's really just a throwaway feud. You know, you got Jinder Mahal in here, who we haven't seen in God knows how long. You know, they just throw him in there. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. Another thing, speaking of shocking, did you see a brand split coming this year?
No, it caught us off guard. It was just inevitable, though. You know, we've been talking about it for months. Like they need to do it. They need to because they have so many people, I should say, that they're just not using. So they have to. So it's just they gotta do this split eventually, and then they come out of nowhere and hit us with the brand extension. I mean, I guess the writing was kind of on the wall with Shane being around.
Yeah, that's.
But you know, after they put him in there with Taker, so we knew he was going to lose, sort of thing, you know. And it was just crazy the way they did everything. It was just kind of all out of sorts, you know. And that was good because no one was thinking about them doing a draft at the time or an extension. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like, have you been happy with the brand split? You as a fan personally, or are there some things you would maybe change? Or
I mean, I like the fact. I like now.
You like it now?
Now, yeah, it's starting to get better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to get better it got better towards the end of the year. You know, and I don't know if Raw is taking a nosedive on purpose. You know?
Yeah, I can agree. SmackDown's really been the better show lately.
Yeah. Especially towards the end of the year. So.
Yeah, and it's just it's a smaller roster, and I think that I mean, even last night, like, dude, like I was off, I was on vacation today, right? So I could have like been like, all right, I'm gonna watch this whole 3-hour Raw, whatever, right? But bro, it was a chore to watch the whole 3 hours, and like I was excited because I'm like, all right, Jericho's going for the United States title, and we're gonna see New Day. We have Goldberg on, you know. And I'm a fan of the Cruiserweight, so that's a reason why I tune into Raw. But yeah, man, I still think SmackDown, which it looks like it's going to be starting here in a minute here, so I got that on the background here. But I'm more excited to watch SmackDown and anything SmackDown related than I am for Raw. Though we are going Raw in a couple weeks, that'll be fun. Regardless, it's always fun. But
definitely.
But you mentioned Shane McMahon. Man, we talked about AJ Styles being, shocking the world with his debut.
Right.
What about Shane coming back? That was 100%.
Yeah, that caught a lot of people on guard too. Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Shane's debut was to the point where like it didn't set in for a few seconds. Like I heard his music, but it wasn't like a holy shit, that's Shane McMahon's music. It was like, I remember this music. Why does this sound familiar? And then I lost my shit. Because then I realized who it was. Then when he actually came out, it's like, I don't know, maybe that's because it's something you haven't seen in a while.
Right.
You know, obviously we got his match with Taker, which was, it was just a spot fest. You know, let's call it what it was. It wasn't Michaels and Taker. It was a spot fest.
Yeah.
And, it was cool to see him back.
Definitely.
Would you, what do you think about, and this is something that I love, but what do you think about the Cruiserweight Classic, the debut of the Cruiserweight title, and the fact that the Cruiserweights now have their own show on the WWE Network, that being 205 Live?
I mean, I think it's good. It was definitely a good move for them to put them in their own show. I still don't like that you're still, using them on Raw, but, it is what it is.
The Jack Gallagher thing with him and New Day was great last night, though.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. Eventually, do you think we're going to get a team up?
Well, I've been saying that since they brought them on Raw. It's like, yes, the Cruiserweights are on Raw, but they have had little to no interaction with the other members of the roster. It's like they're on their own island, which, if that's the case, then keep them off Raw and just keep them on 205 Live. I like the fact that Jack Gallagher was interacting with the New Day. And even, I think there was a segment a few weeks ago where Braun Strowman just, destroyed all the Cruiserweights. That's fine, because it's interaction between that division and the heavyweights,
Right.
That will make it a little bit more exciting. Now, we have Neville in the Cruiserweight division now, which he should have been there from the jump. That's making it a little bit more exciting. In my opinion, I think the crowd reactions for the Cruiserweights is still kind of yeah. It's for some reason it's like people don't get into it, and I don't know why. I mean, I love it. I'll tune in every time. I think what it is that you have the majority of people that will go to Monday Night Raw are going to be your average fans that may watch Raw here and there. The kids that are there, they only love Roman Reigns and the New Day and whatever. They have no idea who these tremendous athletes are that have come in from the independents and all over the world. So as a result, they really don't appreciate what they're seeing. So that I think that's what's leading to the lack of reaction, at least for Monday Night Raw, because on the Cruiserweight Classic, these guys were popping the entire NXT arena because that crowd really knew who these guys were.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they gave them a lot more, not so much leeway, but they did a lot more. There was a lot more spots and everything, so a lot of things kind of worked out.
Yeah, and then I just don't like the purple ropes. Just what if you're gonna have them on Raw, why do you got to change the ropes? That's so weird.
True.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, if you just have to do that, why don't you just do a Cruiserweight hour for the first hour?
Yeah, exactly. Then you put 205 Live on Monday nights.
Right.
If they're part of the Raw roster. It's just weird that it's on Tuesdays after, because, for example, we all went to SmackDown this few months ago, and when the show was over, there was a dark main event, but you and we left. We're like, all right, well, So, I mean, majority of people that are going to SmackDown are not going to stick around, especially because they got to work the next morning, they got kids and all that stuff. Your diehards, yes, they're going to stick around, they're going to watch 205 Live, but the run to the mill fans, the mom and dads, first of all, that will get the people going, and keep the people hyped up leading into SmackDown. You'll get more of a reaction, and those storylines can bleed over into SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
It baffles my mind why they're on Raw. I don't know if it's because Raw's 3 hours and they feel that they need the Cruiserweights.
Yeah, they need the space. They need the filler. But they got enough talent to fill it. I don't know why they're...
Exactly. They only do 2 Cruiserweight matches, so it's that doesn't fill up an hour. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we talked about it too, where I really thought they would go ahead, get that title off of Miz, put it back on Raw, so they would have 2 secondary titles.
And move it.
And then SmackDown would have gotten the Cruiserweights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then... then that kind of leaves them hanging, you know what I'm saying, with just one title.
Yeah.
In the tag titles. But...
Yeah, but still, I mean, you have the Cruiserweight title, which is a secondary title, the tag titles, and the world title for a 2-hour show, and plus the women's title too, the women's title. So yeah, so I don't think it drops anything down at all. I think it just I think it would add a different dynamic to SmackDown, but that's, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for the Cruiserweights, and with that, we recently, this one kind of came out of nowhere. The announcement of the UK title and the tournament that we're going to be getting in a few weeks. Actually, I think it's 2 weeks from this past weekend.
Right.
First of all, that belt looks way better than the world title. I'll say that.
Sure.
But
I mean, there's just a lot more details in it. You know, they put a lot more effort into it. And you got to remember too, what they're trying to do. You know, with this expansion, because I finally got to watch that interview in its entirety. He's really trying to build a territory over there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think Trips is really looking to go. He's got a modern mindset, but he's bringing it back to those territory days. But all those territories are operating under the WWE umbrella, which is smart. I love that. From a business standpoint, it makes a lot of sense, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, if you do it that way, too, it gives you opportunities to bounce folks around. You know, you got all these people that you're not using, you know what I'm saying, on Raw, and all these, you know, Scottish or, you know, English or whatever. Like the Vaudevillains, they should be right back over there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, what's your take on the state of NXT for 2016? Do you think that it got stronger? Or do you think that it got a little weaker, given the fact that we got a lot of call-ups after the?
I don't think it got weak at all. And that's the good thing about it. I don't think the call-ups hurt it at all. I don't think the call-ups hurt it as much as people thought they were, because all of the call-ups, the only big call-up was Finn.
Oh yeah.
The rest of them were, you know, so call-ups.
Yeah.
Like Bayley, you really don't need Bayley because you got Asuka down there now. So, you know, Mojo Rawley, pointless.
Baron Corbin was a good one.
Pointless. You know.
I think Baron Corbin was a good call-up because they're finally doing something with him now. Apollo Crews I was really excited for, but they really stalled on him. I don't know why. He's got the look and everything, and he's great in the ring, so maybe I think they gotta turn him heel just because he's too much of a you know, a baby face, just your generic baby face. But yeah, they call
let him join the New Day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I put him in there before I put Titus. I did like that Titus segment though. I was laughing. I was losing my mind. We started doing the pop and locking and the booty popping. I'm like, this is crazy. I was really thinking we were gonna get a dance off with him and Big E. I was hoping for that, but we didn't, unfortunately. Yeah, and let's, you know, some of the like historic things that happened this year. Talking about the New Day, they got the record for the longest reigning tag team champions of all time.
Right.
That was really cool. When they lost it, it was really like a kick in the dick because we got so much behind them that we just didn't want that reign to stop.
Yeah. But they were putting the machine behind Cesaro and Sheamus, so.
That's true.
I don't know why, but it's only a short-term thing. You know they're going to implode within the next month or so.
Yeah, I don't see this being a long reign, unfortunately. I think, honestly, I see the implosion in the Rumble match. I think they're going to eliminate each other, and they'll probably drop the titles the next night. That's my prediction.
I can see that.
Let's talk about the women, man. We got the change from the Divas title to the women's title, something that we've been thinking that needs to happen for a long time, and they finally went down at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, because, I mean, the difference in the dynamics is just so much.
Well, yeah, because we didn't have, like, yes, we have, like, the prissy girls. Like, we still have, like, Maurice, and I still consider, like, the Bellas, like, from that, that diva, generation. But, we don't have the Melinas anymore. We don't have Candice. We don't have Playboy models as your champion anymore. We actually have wrestlers, which is great, and they're entertaining. With that being said, we got the first women's main event with Sasha and Charlotte. Not only was it the main event, but it was a Hell in a Cell, And, you could say what you want about the match. I mean, it was what it was, but regardless, I mean, that alone it's historic. WWE has never done that. We've seen like maybe a Raw main event here and there, but not the main event of a pay-per-view, let alone a Hell in a Cell, a match that, you really, when you think Hell in a Cell, you think of Taker and Foley, you think of like, Triple H's battles in there, Shawn Michaels, and then you get these girls in there, and for given what they had, and the limitations of the show being PG, they really kick some ass in this match.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so that's that there. One more shocking moment. I'm probably missing something. And that was just one word, man. One word. That one word is Goldberg. Freaking Bill.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot more shocking if they hadn't. I mean, because the thing is once they get them put them on the cover, we know that we're going to get them in some sort of fashion.
You thought he was going to...
The only person we didn't get that way was Austin. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think, and we talked about this before, he has insurance problems. It's like they won't insure his neck.
That's true. Yeah, they're not going to clear him. It's the same thing as like, Edge and all that. They're not going to let him come back. Did you see Goldberg? First of all, we knew he was going to be in the game. He did some appearances but did you see him getting in the ring, let alone against Brock Lesnar?
Yeah.
You did?
No, you asked me I thought you asked if I saw it. You mean, did I envision that happening? Absolutely not.
Yeah. And then
no.
Yeah. And then of course, like you and I were watching Survivor Series together when 1 minute 26 seconds, two spears and a jackhammer, and it was done.
Right.
And it was one of those, well, what are we going to do with the rest of the night now?
Right. I guess we'll watch Ride Along, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, that was...
we sat there and watched the episode of Ride Along, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing else to do, yeah, because WWE, regardless, here's the thing. If Brock were to beat Goldberg in that match, the fans, the internet fans, the smart marks, if you will, would have bitched saying how predictable WWE is, and why would you bring in Goldberg just to feed him to Lesnar? And they did the complete opposite. They completely swerved us. They had Goldberg destroy him, and people...
Exactly.
But people still bitched. They're like, oh, it was only 1 minute and 26 seconds. What a ripoff. And for the fans in attendance, yeah, I did feel for them. But for myself, the viewer at home, I was shocked. And that's what I like. I want to be surprised. I want to be shocked. I want to be wrong when I make predictions.
Right.
I don't know, that's crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, it was a crazy year.
Yeah. A couple other somber notes. We got the retirement of Daniel Bryan, which none of us wanted. But we kind of saw coming, but we knew he was training for a comeback, and that was just rough that he did have to go. Kind of came out of nowhere. He announced it on Twitter. And then, did you think it was going to be a swerve when he did his retirement speech, or did you think it was legit?
I honestly didn't know what the game plan was at that point. I didn't have any expectations until he actually got in there and started getting choked up. Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, he's about to sit down. So
yeah, that was really sad. And then the passing of Mr. Fuji and China, that was those were some that really hit home too.
Did Dusty pass last year or this year?
Dusty passed last year. It might have been. It wasn't. Well, they did a Dusty Classic last year, so yeah, no, he passed last year.
Yeah, the year before. Okay.
I know there was. I'm missing somebody who passed this year, and I apologize if I I know I'm missing.
It'll be okay. When we figure it out, they'll still be gone.
Yeah, I got it. But yeah, man,
I'm sorry.
The China
that was a hammer moment. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. But yeah, man, the China thing was really rough. But because you heard stories that she was getting better. She wasn't really doing too much of the drugs and all that. But then it turns out that that's what did her in. But it is what it is. It's kind of something that unfortunately comes with the territory of professional wrestling, is seeing these premature deaths. But I've never liked to see somebody that you grew up with pass away. It's just kind of like a part of your childhood that gets taken away. But that is what it is. But I think the good outshined the bad this year. I can say that with confidence. And going into 2017, I mean, we got the Rumble coming up in a few weeks. We don't really have anybody that's injured other than Finn, who looks like he's ready to come back. So given the roster we have now with the new debuts and the call-ups, I think 2017 I'm optimistic for, especially now in WrestleMania season.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have
definitely looking forward to it next year, and hopefully we'll get some some of our predictions actually happen.
Yes.
I had one or two that actually happened last year that I called and that actually happened. I'm just trying to remember which ones they were.
I don't remember which one it was. Yeah.
It was like early in the year.
Yeah, I know you were pretty good with them. Yeah, that's for sure. I think we called like Taker and Cena, which did not happen, but that's what happens with the.
So of course I googled who died in 2016 for you.
Mm-hmm.
And half of these I didn't even know died.
Who? Okay, who do we got?
One of them is called the Mongolian Stomper.
I have no idea who that is.
I did who that is, me either. I didn't think you would. Let me see who's next. China, of course, was first on the list.
Yeah.
Chris Travis. Don't know who that is.
Sounds very familiar.
Oh, Axel Rotten.
Axel Rotten did pass away. I think Balls Mahoney passed away, or was that last year?
I think last year Balls died. No, it was him.
It was them.
It was this year, yeah.
Axel died too. I remember that. Yeah, there was a lot of guys that we lost in the professional wrestling business.
Yeah, it was Hayabusa.
Hayabusa did pass away. Yeah.
The Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Exploding cage match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, FMW. So one thing I forgot to touch.
Blackjack Mulligan died this year too.
That's who I was thinking of. That's who it was. I knew it was somebody from with a somewhat kind of a cowboy gimmick. So that's who I forgot.
Yeah, Blackjack Mulligan. Yep.
And I know something that I had fun watching. That I know you watched some of it, but you couldn't freaking understand it. Was Broken Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah, you can talk about that. I'll just listen.
I don't even understand it. Here's the thing, dude. I get Pop TV because I PlayStation View, and I try to watch TNA here and there. But as sad as it says, as it sounds, I mean, I can't get invested in TNA, and that's not because of all the stories you hear. That's just because the product for me it's just not interesting. And I have a lot of friends that work down there, and that's it has nothing to do with the talent because the roster is talented, but the TNA in general hasn't really done anything for me, except this Broken Matt Hardy character, which is completely ridiculous, completely over the top. If you guys haven't seen the Final Deletion, Delete or Decay, or Total Non-Stop Deletion, yeah, we all watched Total Non-Stop Deletion together, and I remember you were like, I give up. Like towards the end, like did you make it as far as like Hornswoggle and all that?
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I had to turn it off so I could fast forward through what I didn't want to watch. It was just getting terrible.
It was ridiculous. Like I knew going in what it was going to be. You have to like watch like from the first thing, like the first segments from like a few months ago, because they're not as ridiculous, but they keep getting more ridiculous as they keep going. So this was just like the coup de grace. It was just like it was gonna make no sense, and I knew it, and it was just like it was basically like a train wreck. Like you just couldn't look away, and I couldn't turn it off. I knew that it was gonna make no sense, and it was basically a 2.5 hour or 2 hour long pregnancy announcement for Rebby Sky, Matt Hardy's wife. And
so she's pregnant again?
Yeah, so like, and then a week later they did like a very hearty Christmas and then a very hearty New Year, which is, so basically TNA hasn't had any actual episodes in about a month. It's just been Matt and Jeff Hardy specials, basically like what you watched. And
right.
And they're like, oh, we're going to find out the gender of the baby. So I don't know what's happening with TNA. It's basically just the Hardy show, which to one point it's entertaining, but on the flip side of the coin, you want to know what's going on with the company, because you do have guys that work there, and you do have champions and a roster full of people. So very interested to see what happens with TNA. I know they were just bought out by Anthem Sports, so very intrigued to see what the announcements will be for Dixie Carter and all them there. So, but yeah, man. Well, let's wrap it up. Yeah, we gotta watch some SmackDown. I gotta get ready for work and all that fun stuff. I know, right? We get to go back to work now. It's crazy. Well, guys, as always, you can check us out at hardcoregeekcast.com. Go under the wrestling tab for all of our wrestling episodes. Also, our past episodes were on iTunes and Podbean and what's the other thing? iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. Just type in Hardcore Geek Wrestling and you'll find us there. For the Hammer, for myself, for everybody else here at Hardcore Geek, I want to say thank you for listening. And we'll see you next week. Hammer, I will see you soon.
Peace.
Peace.